In 2009, a group of geologists in northern Colombia found something so large that it immediately raised a disturbing question. At first, they thought it was part of a fallen tree, but when they touched it, the surface felt wrong, too smooth, almost polished. They brushed away the dust. They were looking at bone, a single vertebra, the size of a human head. No animal alive has bones like that, not even close. They radioed the paleontologists' team. Within hours, paleontologists were on site. They started digging, and they kept finding more. Ribs as thick as baseball bats, jawbones with recurved teeth, a skull built for swallowing prey whole. When they finally pieced the skeleton together, no one spoke for a long time, because what they were looking at wasn't supposed to be possible. A snake, 42 feet long, over a ton in weight, large enough to swallow a crocodile without chewing. They named it Titanoboa sarajonensis, and if it were alive today, you wouldn't be safe near any body of water. Let's be very clear about what we're talking about. The biggest snake alive today is the reticulated python, about 20 feet, maybe 200 pounds. Titanoboa was 42 feet long and weighed over 2,500 pounds. If you stood next to it, its body would reach your chest, even while lying flat. But here's the part that should disturb you. Snakes are ambush predators. They don't chase, they wait. And when something that large doesn't need to move to kill you, it becomes invisible. Imagine wading into a river. The water is murky, warm, still. You don't see the ripple 15 feet behind you. You don't feel the current shift as something enormous glides underneath. By the time you notice, it's already too late. But this raises a bigger problem. Snakes are cold-blooded. They can't generate their own heat. The larger a reptile gets, the harder it is to stay warm enough to survive. That's why modern snakes have limits. Biology won't let them grow past a certain size. So how did Titanoboa exist at all? The answer is simple, but it's terrifying. Titanoboa lived 58 million years ago, just after the dinosaurs went extinct, and the Earth had turned into a furnace. Carbon dioxide levels were sky high. The tropics were hotter than anything we experience today. Year-round temperatures hovered between 86 and 93 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hotter than the modern Amazon ever gets. And in that heat, the rules changed. In extreme heat, cold-blooded animals don't just survive, they gain an advantage. Their metabolism accelerates, their muscles work faster, their size limits disappear. Heat became fuel, and this becomes the reason why Titanoboa became inevitable. But there's one more thing. The environment itself was built for a predator like this. Imagine a jungle so dense the canopy blocked out the sky, rivers cutting through endless swamps, water everywhere, slow-moving and black. This was the Cerrejón rainforest, a flooded maze, and Titanoboa owned it. It spent most of its time submerged, waiting. Its body was built for stealth, thick, muscular, almost perfectly silent in the water. It didn't need the hunt, it just needed to be patient. But how? Here's what an attack would have looked like. A crocodilian surfaces near the shore, dragging itself onto the mud. It doesn't notice the water behind it beginning to move. Titanoboa strikes from below, coiling in one fluid motion. No venom, no warning, just constriction. Each loop tightens with crushing pressure, far more than bone can withstand. The brain shuts down from lack of oxygen. Death comes in under a minute. Then the swallowing begins. Jaw unhinged, body stretching wider than seems possible.
One meal like that could last for months. This wasn't a monster, it was a machine, perfectly adapted, brutally efficient. But the world it was designed for was already starting to crack.
Around 56 million years ago, the Earth began to cool. Not quickly, just a slow, creeping decline. But for Titanoboa, even a few degrees mattered. Its metabolism slowed. Hunting became harder. Digestion took longer. Smaller snakes, built for efficiency, started to outlast it. And then the landscape itself began to change. The swamps dried up. Rivers shrank. The endless wetlands receded. Titanoboa needed 3 things to survive: heat, water, and space. All 3 were disappearing. There was no asteroid, no sudden extinction event, just the quiet withdrawal of everything it needed. By 55 million years ago, it was gone. Not because it was weak, but because the world it belonged to no longer existed. Here's the truth about Titanoboa. It didn't break the rules of nature, it proved that the rules were never fixed to begin with. Give evolution the right heat, the right environment, the right pressure, and it will build something we'd swear was impossible. A 42-foot snake wasn't an accident, it was inevitable. But so was its end. Titanoboa dominated for millions of years. It had no rivals, no predators, and still it vanished. Not with asteroid or some kind of disaster, but just with change. The temperature dropped, the rivers dried, the jungle thinned, and suddenly the greatest predator of its age had nowhere left to go. Think about that. The most powerful creature in its world, perfectly adapted, utterly dominant, gone because the terms shifted. Nature doesn't care how well you're built, it only cares if the world still fits you, and evolution never promises permanence.